How's it going, YouTube? In this video we have Gacha Green played by myself going up against Machinedramon. This is the same Gacha Green deck that I played in the previous video, and Machinedramon is a pretty cool deck, so I definitely want to show this off. Pretty unique matchup. Before we start, let me just say that I love the sleeve from the Machinedramon player. They're absolutely amazing, so shout out to that guy. And as you can see, this is one of the Machinedramon decks where he's playing like that blue base for the extra card draw with the Gem and Beamon, and then access to basically Kaiser Nail. So in my opinion, this is a very explosive deck, right? Like if you get your pieces, it could be absolutely insane, right? My question is like, how consistent is this overall? But I will say that it's not like a regular standard Machinedramon build is doing too well these days. So I respect the players, trying it out, doing some crazy stuff, and sometimes you gotta go a little wild to make it work. Analog Boy, pretty good start. And right away, instantly going into the Machinedramon. It is going to be an expensive one, but this is turn 2 for him, and it's already going to be, pretty powerful boss Digimon. Yeah, he's giving me memory to work with, but like that Machinedramon is already a problem, right? You can see just how quickly he went into that. A good Analog Boy. I have to just hard play a Jagamon because I don't have a level 4. We are able to memory choke him. And then he can put in the pressure with the Gem and Beamon. He's just such a good rookie, right? Like swings, guaranteed to survive. And you get the card draw and again, access to blue options. So it's pretty cool how that works because the Machinedramon doesn't really need the rookies, I suppose. He's not going to swing with the Machinedramon. Going to play relatively safe. Just going to get the Hagurumon out there to cycle. We're going to see if I can find a level 4. So last time we saw my Gacha Green deck, you saw that most of the time I used the Tortomon to guarantee, the gacha, if you will. In cases like this where you don't have it, sometimes you gotta just risk it for the biscuit. In this case, I don't risk it, and we just manually go into the turtle. Because he has 2 suspended Digimon, we get, 2 memory back, which lets me at least trade against the Beamon and get Pinamon card draw, which we desperately needed there, I think. So it's a good way to just cycle. The turtle can then start putting in some pressure, but hidden into Ultimate Connection that he can't activate, funny enough. And hey, hard drop in a Machinedramon. So you can see, my hand is not the greatest. Also, by the way, we just, swung at security. The Machinedramon on his turn, I believe, is only going to be 11,000. So he's not going to be able to answer it. And then he's going to have to discard if he wants to restand. So he has to discard Hagurumon, which is pretty good for us. But obviously I'm off to not the greatest start either. Machinedramon still has the 4 sources. And it's a little scary. He actually has a lot of memory to work with as well, right? I had to pass over the full 5. Looks like my rookies last level 4 were just not really there that game. But sometimes it's about making it work with whatever you've got, right? He goes into the Chaosdramon, which is super sick. Lets him get another source under it. And then pop my level 5, which is really strong. Now the Chaosdramon does lose the other effects, right? Like he can now no longer protect itself or anything like that. But what he can do is just go straight into an Omnimon X antibody. He did pay the full 6 memory for that, but since I was so behind this game, like it's actually really strong. And as green in this position, like I don't think I can answer that. If I remember, I have a Chaos Balderarm in hand, which can minus 14,000 it, which is not enough to answer that. And yeah, that's an X antibody. So this is kind of what I was talking about, where the Machinedramon deck, the way it's played like this build, it has an insane ceiling, right? Like your strong plays are so ridiculously strong. And, he just turbo out into an Omnimon, and it's pretty good, right? Every turn he can wipe something and then, push for damage. On top of that, he's got a bunch of sources from the Machinedramon, so he gets a bunch of negates if he wants them. It actually works quite well in the deck, funny enough. Now you can only go X antibody on top of the Chaosdramon, not on the regular Machinedramon. So again, a bit of consistency issues there, but hey, when it works, right? I still don't have a rookie. Anything I play just gets, deleted by the Omnimon, but looks like I don't really have anything to do, really. Yeah, he's gonna swing, keep pressuring, keep deleting anything I play. And he doesn't really have to do much more than this, but if he had a Kaiser Nail, he can like Kaiser Nail out a Machinedramon, which is, again, insanely strong combo. But honestly, you could just keep playing bodies, and at this point, even with all the memory that we have access to, I just don't think there's enough for me to do, and that's gonna be game 1 going to Machinedramon. So again, awesome sleeves. I do like the deck. Machinedramon is a very cool Digimon, and it's again cool that people are experimenting and try to make him work one way or another. I can't say that I really tried out that build a lot. I play like, you know, the standard, basic, I guess if you will, Machinedramon deck. And I don't know, BT7 I just didn't try it out too much. I feel like the blue matchup is kind of rough, which makes you want to not play the deck that much. But you know, a lot of that kind of lose to blue hybrid, and don't let that stop you from trying to play some cool decks and having a good time, right? Right, Gacha Green got kind of rolled over. You see we don't have answers to Omnimon X Antibody. But really, just not having like the Rookie Sun Force obviously hurt me a lot. Going into game 2, we'll see if we can bounce back. And Machinedramon, just pretty cool deck overall. You know, this is definitely one of those cases where like, I'm like, yes, we're gonna be able to showcase some really, really cool decks. People seem to really like the Gacha Green when I posted the video last time. This time around, I'm not gonna do a deck profile on it. But if you are curious, basically the idea on the deck is that, you know, your Gacha engine is your 5s and your Tortomon, and then that's really it, right? So like, aside from that, you could still play your hybrids as your 4s, and then you have to play a lot of level 6s, and the Ancient Beetlemon is just a good level 6 that we could play. Okay, this time we're off to a much better start, being able to go into the Tortomon, Jagamon, and he hits a Mimi Insecurity. So honestly, it could not be a better start for us. Absolutely insane. He plays Machinedramon, which I like, you know, like in regular black decks, Machinedramon can be digivolved over, and this is actually quite relevant, so pretty good for him there. But we should have pretty good plays at this point, right? We're gonna swing over the Beemon and then use their effect. Gonna digivolve into an Ancient Beetle. Like I said, Ancient Beetle, just a generically good level 6, and we do play hybrid, so we have, you know, the Undeletion available. We get that free Mimi, so we can hatch and start rebuilding. I also do play the Gutsumon, you know, if you don't have a Tortomon, Gutsumon is a good way to guarantee your effects. And being able to build another chain, again, off to a really strong start. Like, when you see the Gacha Green play like this, you're like, wow, that shit is pretty good, right? Like, we're just turboing out into very strong, powerful level 6s at relatively cheap cost, and it looks pretty solid. This, you know, last game we had Machinedramon, like turn 2 dropped the Machinedramon, but that's because he had the Analog Youth. This time he doesn't, and I guess now he's in a terrible spot, right? This is the case where like, we don't know what his hand is, but you know, cards like Kaiser Nail, the Omnimons, like those cards in situations like this are terrible, right? Like they just will not do anything. On the other hand, as we saw last game, when those cards are good, they could be absolutely game winning, right? But those are sort of like win more cards is how I see them. Gonna take the Higurumon to help him cycle. He does have a good amount of level 5 machines in the trash, so maybe it could be set up for a next turn Machinedramon. But at this point, it might honestly be too little too late, as I have quite a bit of pressure. Gonna just Digivolve into a Machinedramon. That's also an option. But this Machinedramon only has 2 sources, you know, not gonna do that much. We Flower Cannon, so we could swing over it. We're gonna swing over with the Jagamon. I think my idea here is that like, he's gonna save himself, and then the Beetle will swing over it to proc the effect. Go into the Turtle, so we actually get a memory. And we're at 16,000. He doesn't use the effect to save himself because he wants the Analog extra 1 memory, which I don't know if long term that's better for him or not. Either way, he was gonna take 1 damage. I guess this way he saves himself, or he, you know, takes 1 memory away from me. Then this one we have 2 level 6s, you know, 2 Tamers and a Rookie in the back. So this is pretty good. He tries to Ultimate Connection, but I'm like, hey, you don't have a level black card on the board. This happens to everybody, no matter what level you are. So, you know, always double check your opponent and yourself. Whenever you play an option, you know, even if you're like, you're a black deck, you play a black option, you assume that you could do it, but double check it. Sometimes you can't. We hit a Sword defeat, but at this point, we have too many bodies, and hybrid for game, that's going to be game 2. So this game, he wasn't able to get set up as soon as he did in game 1. And my lines were fantastic. Just 2, you know, turbo on into the level 5 gachas, go straight into level 6s, and then use that advantage to win the game. You see the Machinedramon player, he still plays even stuff like Omnimon Sword Defeat, right? Which obviously very strong card, but again, makes you wonder like what his list is like, that like you're playing like Omnimons, Sword Defeats, all the Chaosdramons, the blue package, all the level 5s you have to play naturally. So, you know, really cool deck overall. I definitely could see it doing well at like a local level, but these are the type of decks that like, if you're going to like, you know, say a Digifest type thing where you're playing 9 rounds, I'd have to wonder like, you know, how well that's going to do consistently at an event like that. But, you know, I am a for fun gamer, and I want to encourage people to play fun and cool decks, and just because the deck is not the most consistent thing ever, it doesn't mean that you can't do well with it, right? So, I like Machinedramon. It's cool to see this guy doing well with it. We're going into game 3 here. So game 1 and game 2 were kind of like a stomp both ways, I think. But it kind of showed like how both decks can operate and how things go when everything goes well for them. We start with no rookie, but a green memory boost, which is also going to not give me a rookie. That's a Tortomon. It's only 4 drop, or 4, you know, to hard drop, which is not the worst. See the Beamon. The thing about the blue babies for Machinedramon is like, bro, you know they only play 4 Beamons. You play no other rookies. So sometimes you're like, oh, but you still get the Beamon, of course, right? You're like, how? You only have 4 rookies. Like I play 12, 13, 14 rookies and I see no rookie, right? But hey, that's just me rambling. It's like when you play against Security Control and they only have like 4 Salamons and they always have it against you. And back of my mind I was like, bruh. But anyway, so he's just, you know, cycling with his rookies, setting up the Analog Youth, setting up the Trash, getting some good chip damage, really putting a lot of pressure on me. Hagurumon is just such a good rookie for Machinedramon. That cycle is so strong. We'll see if we have a rookie. We do not. It at least means we can go into Beetle, and this Beetle is going to bottom deck 3 of my rookies, which we desperately needed. So this is one of the cases where like the hybrid package kind of hurts me, because unlike blue or red, our hybrids are not rookies, right? So really going to be struggling there. At least we're able to go into a level 5 with only 2 memory. I figured there's no way he could swing over this 5. And then if we could start our Gacha shenanigans next turn, I might be in a better spot. Like I said, how does he have another Beamon, right? Like, bruh. But, you know, it'd be like that. So he does have another Beamon. He's keeping in that pressure. And you can see how, like, you know, the chip damage from the rookies really adds up. Now he's going into the Machinedramon. He should have the full 5 from his hands, probably. But no, it's actually only 3. So once again, not the greatest Machinedramon ever. And he actually gives me quite a bit of memory to work with. We have the level 5. I don't have the Tortomon, but like I said, we could guarantee it from other ways, like playing a Gutsumon. In that case, you still pay the 3. But instead, we're going to just hard go into the turtle, not risk it. Finally draw a rookie. We can swing over the Machinedramon. This time around, he is going to use the protection, though. Definitely wants to preserve that Machinedramon. Machinedramon such a strong Digimon, right? Like, just so many good effects on that card. Go into a Tortomon and maybe set up for another level 5 for next turn. You know, when you see the Gacha Green going well for me, like, this is what we're doing, right? It's like we go into a level 6 quickly, and then we instantly start doing it again. He has to discard to restand, discarding the Sword Defeat, which, you know, kind of a dead card in hand, I guess, although he did have a level 6. He swings, dying to a turtle because my deck plays so many level 6s that, you know, our security gets loaded in terms of high DP Digimon. But the pressure from the rookies has just been so much. Him having that double Beamon is definitely huge this game. And looks like he might just be going into another Machinedramon. It puts me in a really tough spot, right? Because like we have to answer the Machinedramon, the Beamon. And the Machinedramon is just so annoying. You have to essentially swing over it 2 times. So going into this turn, I'm like, okay, the only way we can answer that is with a Nidhogg, right? We have to suspend the Machinedramon and then somehow, someway get a Nidhogg. So my original plan here is let me swing over the Beamon, and because he only needs 1 attack and he can protect his Machinedramon, I'm thinking like, okay, if he blocks with Machinedramon, we can then Nidhogg it. He does the smart play, which is not block that attack. Now, I don't think blocking that would be necessarily bad, as he could have, you know, again, just protected the Machinedramon, and then Beamon wins the game, right? We did get piercing from the JP there. But at this point, the Machinedramon is a problem. We can go into a turtle. This is going to force suspend the Machinedramon. But by now, like, we still have to answer it, right? So I need a Nidhogg. It's just, how are we going to get a Nidhogg, right? And it's unlikely, that's for sure. Machinedramon also cannot be DP reduced, so no Chaos Ball or anything like that. We got a Mimi, which could let me start building again, but it's pretty expensive. We're just digging, seeing if there's any way we can get out of this. The pressure from the rookies was really strong from him, combined with those Machinedramons that, while expensive, were definitely very, very worth it. So I'm just digging, seeing if I can get a Nidhogg. If we go double level 4 into the 5, we could Nidhogg. But even with the memory boost, I don't have enough. And just like that, that's going to be game 3, going to the Machinedramon. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.